It's another week and another brand new episode on the Granny Panty Podcast. I'm your host, RubyLynne. If you'd like to follow the podcast, just hit subscribe and you'll get notified when we get new episodes. If you'd like to follow me, RubyLynne, the host, you can go to RubyLynne.com where it's all things Ruby. I am so excited to have this week's guest. First time I've had a cam couple, and boy, are they fun. I tell you what. I'm pretty sure by the end of the episode, my cheeks are going to hurt from laughing and smiling with them. So let's welcome the Bigbananamilfshakes, Mya and Angelo. I am so excited to have you both on the show, the Bigbananamilfshakes, Mya and Angelo.
Hey, Ruby. Hi.
Welcome to the show.
Thank
How's it
you.
going?
How are you?
Busy, but more. How are you guys doing? You've had some really big events here recently. One being winning XBIZ streamer duo of the year. Congratulations.
Thanks, Ruby.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. That was super exciting.
It really was.
Has that kind of set in yet?
You know what?
No.
I was gonna say I was gonna think it was gonna sit in, but then we had some other stuff come up that we just haven't quite been able to just be like, oh, this is really awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I was really excited to see you guys win. As you know, I tagged you. We voted for you every day. So it's nice to actually have someone win that we voted for.
Absolutely. We want to say thank you so much for doing that and being there and supporting us. And a big thank you to our fans and to the Banana family and the castaways on the island. They were just nonstop, and we're so grateful. And once this whole other portion is looked after, we're going to be able to really enjoy and party the win.
Yeah. So what we'll do, let's talk about the most recent event of the weekend, and then we can get in. I want to hear your story. I want you to tell people how you got into it. But you folks just suffered a fire, correct?
We did.
Can you tell us about what happened?
Yeah, we have a dedicated space that is specifically the islands, and it's our home away from home, and where we stream from every weekend,
and our couples therapy room,
and our couples therapy, and we so we also have pools in that room as well that are used for punishments, and we keep dehumidifier going in order to keep everything,
the moisture and everything,
and keep everything good. So that morning, Saturday morning, we had turned it on and had the door open and just left it running just to air everything out,
like we always do.
Yeah, like we always do. And I was getting coffee in the morning, and we have a dangler, a friend of ours staying with us that was there, and he's like, oh, I smell fireworks. I was like, oh, that's weird. And I looked outside, and I just saw this big billowing of smoke.
No.
And
I was still in bed.
Yeah.
I was still, because it was early. I was still in bed.
So we ran outside, and then Dangler stayed there to kind of do it while I came back in to scream my head off for everybody to wake
everybody up. Everybody. And the crazy,
and get the fire extinguisher.
And the crazy part is that she didn't see me because I had already jumped through into our back room into the island.
Yeah. So after I came in, got the extinguisher and was screaming, I went and got it, and I went straight out the front door. And I didn't see him, but I guess he had gotten up at that time and come through the back door. And so I didn't even know he was there, but he had ran into the fire, basically, into the room where the fire was. Yeah.
And it is basically, the walls were already ablaze. And so we grabbed literally the pool helped me a lot. Because from the pool, jumped into the pool. But what I didn't notice is that there was debris falling onto my back.
So on our door, in order to keep like the soundproofing it, because we're a little loud.
Oh.
Loud. So for the soundproofing, we had all of the soundproofing foam on the door, and it was all across the door. Because the door was up, the fire had melted it. It was dripping down onto his back. So it he's got.
I didn't notice, because I was in such a hyper state of
your adrenaline.
With this fire out. Exactly. And the neighbors were all gathering outside.
Yeah.
But I was making sure stay out there because I need to put this out. So I was throwing water on it. And then grabbed the extinguisher. Wow. We blew out ended up blowing out the flames, and made sure that, the first and foremost that I cared about was that these guys were all outside. I didn't care about anything else. They were all out. They were safe. And as neighbors and everybody else, and keep it contained. Yeah. So we made sure, but it torched the right corner of the walls and then the big door. So.
And unfortunately, because it was right beside our entertainment unit where all of our streaming equipment is,
that went quick.
Some things melted, but the other stuff ended up getting like water damage or like foam damage from the extinguishers. So, yeah.
Did the fire department come out and check it out?
It did. So the fire department came out, and they came in with hazmat suits after. It was funny because he was looking at me.
I hid the dildos and all that stuff before they came.
I wouldn't even thought about that. I'm an ex-firefighter, so I'm like, you need to have an assessment, make sure it didn't go through the attic.
Yeah, right. Well, they did end up tearing the...
So he's in his suit, and he's checking with the thermal cameras, making sure there were no hot spots. And they had to poke a couple of holes up through the ceiling and make sure that there wasn't any fire.
Yep.
And any hot spots, and he's there, and he's sounding like Darth Vader, and he goes, "Looks good, okay."
I used to do that stuff. Can you believe it?
Did you?
You used to do what?
Firefighter.
I was a firefighter, EMT.
I did not know that. Yeah. That's amazing. That's actually really cool.
You guys. It's a lot of work and a lot of selfless act of making sure people are safe and making sure that the fires are out. So
well, and not only that, I mean ours was fairly minor compared to some of the things that can happen or could have happened.
Right.
And I know that that's not an easy job emotionally and mentally because you could definitely see some things that are not. Yeah.
But
I have things.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just glad everyone was safe because yes, it's really a blow, but hopefully you had some homeowners insurance and equipment can be replaced. People can't. So I saw that on Twitter and I literally out loud said, "Oh my God." And Rex was like, "What?" I'm like, "The Banana Milfshakes had a fire and the island burned down."
Yeah.
Terrible.
Oh,
it was crazy. You know what?
We've had a lot of supports, a lot of messages.
We did
people helping out.
Yeah, and what was great is last night we had one of our moderators actually set up a live stream where a lot of people came in and showed their support
and did a fundraiser stream.
That's what's amazing about this community.
Cool. I have goosebumps.
Yeah, and some other friends of ours, the Crimson Lounge, set up a GoFundMe for us as well. So
very cool.
It is, and I mean, we'll be able to replace some of the stuff and just trying to get back into.
I just want to get back on the island, fire and all. I don't care. I just want to
work. I just can't breathe in there yet. So once we can breathe in there, we'll be back on there.
Can we use that as a torture?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Use it as what?
We'll use it as a torture. Can't breathe in the island, the smoke inhalation.
Hey, there's got to be a fetish for that. There's a fetish for everything. And
there's a fetish for that. Yeah, for sure.
Turning your troubles or things that happen to you into that is amazing. I'll give you an example. I broke my wrist, like first year camming. I broke my wrist. That's a whole nother show story. But anyway, I'm in this cast, this big purple cast, and person I know that's very huge. I've had him on my podcast before in the fetish world. He's like, you need to film some fetish or cast fetish content. I didn't even know there was a thing. And I go, what? And he's like, yeah, you need to take advantage of that.
That's awesome.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm
That is
still
awesome.
selling that cast fetish content 4 years later on ManyVids.
Oh my
Crazy.
Never,
That's
yeah.
great.
Turn it. You can always turn a tragedy into
Anything.
something good.
Well,
There
you know
go.
what, Ruby? It took the castaways on the island 15 minutes to weaponize our sand. It literally, it was quick. It was like, okay, we can do a buried in sand tip. I'm like,
Oh yeah, I guess we
okay.
can.
Yeah. That's right.
Well, one good thing is the island did need we do have sand on our floor, right? So
Yeah.
the dust is hard to keep down.
So what you're saying is it took a fire for us to do a deep cleaning.
We did we've been doing a really good deep clean. So there is a positive in that.
That is what you call making lemonade out of lemons for sure.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you guys will be back in business before you know it. So, but before that, you're just going to make a little corner. You're going to be, maybe you're not on the island. Now you're on a cruise ship or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Anything is possible.
That's a great idea.
Great idea.
We'll
I'm
just be in
also
our
thinking, Maya, you need to get a sexy firefighter outfit and do some content out there. You can even put
look at this.
Oh, yes.
You know what, Ruby? This was my hat. This is my hat.
It's his hero hat.
I'm like,
I bought him a hero hat.
I want a hat.
But yes, that's
ahead of
actually
me.
great. These are all great ideas, Ruby. All great ideas. You know what you're talking about.
I don't get to wear it for the whole. I don't get to wear it for the whole.
I can see it now. Maya could film content like, I'm so hot, the walls caught on fire.
I need a big hose.
You got one. Enter Angelo.
Oh my
running,
Lord.
the slow motion running with a bucket of water.
Baywatch. Now we're talking about.
Yeah.
Now we're rolling.
Yeah.
Well,
lemonade.
Let's rewind a little, and I'd like to go back to the beginning for you guys. So you got into CAM, was it 2021, 2022?
This is we're 3.5 years now. So 2020? Nope, 2021.
Yeah. 2020. Okay. And where did this idea to do CAM come from? What prompted this?
Oh boy.
Well, so COVID. I worked in corporate in the financial sector, and I got laid off during COVID. And I have a son, and the kids at that time were getting sent home from school like every couple weeks.
Right.
And so trying to find another job while I would have to take time off to be at home with him was nearly impossible. Right. So it was a pretty scary time at that point. And I had a friend who had said, hey, you'd be really good at this. And I was like, fuck no. I'm not doing that. No, I'm not. In your head, because I think a lot of the stigma goes along with ignorance, right? Because if you're not a part of the industry and you don't know anything about it, there is that stigma that goes along with it. And it is ignorance. It's ignorance, really, just not understanding or knowing what it's all about. So when it was first told to me, I was like, no, there's no way I'm doing that. Yeah. And then I looked more into it, and I was like, actually, this would be a lot of fun, and I would really enjoy it, and I think I'd be good at it. And then she asked me, and then I came to Angie, and
then he got home from work and he said, I have an idea.
Yeah. So I was like, but babe.
Here's the kicker, Ruby. Here's the kicker. Go ahead. You said what?
I was like, you'll get more sex, more meetings out of this. And he's like,
when do we start?
Yeah. Right. Sign me up yesterday.
Yeah. So we originally started, it was very late August. I guess I can't think right now.
2021, I think it was.
2021?
Yeah.
Yes, 2021. And very late August. And then we did our original shows that way. We did sex shows in the beginning and
for about 5 or 6 months.
But Angelo works out of town during the week. So he still has a job that he works out of town during the week. And what we found is when he would come home on the weekends, that all of that intimate time was spent on camera.
Right.
And so for us, it wasn't working for our relationship.
And so there was a time where we had introduced some mild spanks at the time. And I think it was spanks with a paddle and belt. And I said to her one day, I said, why don't we completely flip this thing upside down? I said, why don't we just...
Well, we had also
incorporated a few games
and stuff like that. Just like, that's my thing.
Yeah.
I love games. And I also was an event planner in my life at one point. Yeah. And so like all of that kind of stuff, I just love it. So
yeah. So I said to her, and I had this growing up, one of my favorite television shows was Gilligan's Island.
Oh, yes.
Love Gilligan's Island. And I said, what if we are stranded on an island and it's the both of us and we have to battle for our piece of the island and we introduce games and this and that.
And teams.
Yeah. And we'll just make a go of it. And, we'll be honest, we were both nervous at that time because it's like, okay, we're going to change the show. I don't think this isn't really on here on this platform.
Well, yeah. And that's the thing. It was a little scary too, because of the platform we're on that's really all it is.
And right? there were other cam couples that were doing some games and whatnot, but I wanted a whole complete different. I wanted a fantasy place.
Okay.
A different kind of fantasy. There's a fetish for that.
And so, and Bananagan Island was born.
Yeah. So we did kind of a little bit slowly switch it over, and then
we just changed
and then we just
completely.
did it. Yeah.
So you phased out the full sex
sex part. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was no
do any of that now on cam or no? Okay.
No,
not live.
No, not live. We have videos that you can buy that you can purchase on the bio. And
I also like being naked in general. So
yeah.
So I do on the show. Like I will, whether if somebody tips for
whatever.
it, yeah,
they can tip for that. Then like
yeah.
Okay.
But in regards to no, we don't do any sexual. And in fact, after we changed it over, we thought, oh, this would be funny to do like be cute to do like a little sexy little strip show. And
our fans were having none of that.
No.
Oh.
They were like, no. We don't want any of this.
They were like, this is not what this island is about.
This is not why we're here.
We are here to play our games and battle it out.
Yeah. But
and I liken it to some of the most I call highest earning cam models, single solo women don't show anything except they might show topless, but they don't show anything below the belt unless you take them private, and they are making bank. They have like close to 1 million followers. It's crazy. So
that's one of the things that we kind of tapped into and we understood and learned is that a lot of the people, especially when we started, because during COVID, a lot of people were at home, were alone, that kind of thing. But what we found in general, even now, that a lot of these people that are on the sites are there because they're looking for connection.
Yes.
And looking for, just to have company.
And that's what the Banana family became. It became a room of, they know each other really well. I mean, they all come in and they welcome new people, and they're some of the most competitive human beings you will ever find. We're competitive, but our fans are competitive. Once we hit stream and they're ready to go, it gets to be a real fun battle to watch. But what's great is that we have so much fun doing it, and it becomes the comedy behind it. It becomes the interaction, and people are like, none of this is scripted.
And the friendships, people, like we're like, because yesterday when they did the fundraising stream, so we were not in front of the camera, we were just in chat, and our mod Goose was the one who was doing it, but as we're sitting there, I was like, oh my goodness, like I can't keep up with these people talking. Like I can't.
It's a lot of chat.
They talk to each other and they form relationships outside of the island. So yeah, like it really is a place where we've kind of created just an amazing little community, which has been, it's been really cool.
That is amazing. And it's always fun. I remember in the early days, like 2 of our nights, because we made our name on Strip Chat originally.
Right.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
our nights became friends and started, like, calling and texting each other,
Wow.
and then we became friends with our nights, and, they were flying out here to hang out with us. I mean, it's just amazing.
Oh, it really is. And the way they form that, and then you're
which
part
is
of their
great
story and they're part of yours.
Then they entertain each other. So sometimes you don't have to put in, like, even out when we're offline, right? Like they
we have a Discord where our Discord is almost like a live show in itself, where it's like nonstop chatter. They're talking.
So the fan club members, the ones who pay for fan club, they can be a part of the Discord. And so it's really great because even when we're not online, and we'll be in there from time to time and chat with them when we're not online, but they are able to, just chat with each other.
Hang out with each other.
Yeah.
That's great. So what is your stream schedule? We want to make sure you put that. Is it just weekends? Or are you going solo during the week, Mya?
Yeah. So we stream Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Sometimes we'll do a Monday show, but it's we start at 11 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
And when we first started, I was always doing solo shows Tuesday and Thursday evenings. But as our couples room grew, I found it a lot harder because there was a lot of back work and editing and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So I actually was on Strip Chat as well.
I remember when you guys were on there.
Yeah. So I have a solo show on there, and then I also have one on CB. I might end up doing the dual stream during the week, but I'm still trying to get this schedule down for the solos.
It's so easy to dual stream.
Yeah. We tried it when we were in the Bahamas with Captain from the Crimson Lounge, but
it was a challenge.
The internet's not as great there as it is.
Yeah, you gotta have some good internet, and you gotta have behind here. I've got 2 55-inch TVs mounted, so it makes it much easier.
Yes, exactly. That's the other thing, is being able to read all the chat and keep up with it too.
Yeah,
but if you've got the big screens and the big monitors, it makes it a lot easier.
So how does so in your personal life, your personal friends that aren't cam or sex worker friends, how have they received your new career? Did you ever go back to work, Mya, or did you retire from banking and all that?
Oh yeah, no, once we started camming, and especially after things started picking up, and we ended up, because I don't know if this is everybody, but when we first started camming, I was like, well, $100 here and there would be great. And then you're like, oh, we can actually live off of this. This is great.
Girl, I know, because I retired social work in April of 2022 when my accountant's like, you just made 3 times what your social work salary is. I don't know what you're planning, but
yes, exactly. Yes. And so, we, when things started taking off, there was I also couldn't bear the thought of going back because, to be fair, I've never been a type of person to be behind a desk, so I kind of felt like I was slowly losing my soul behind the desk.
But our regular friends, which we have our cam family that we're a few of them we're really tight with, but our away from cam friends, which some of them like that they're just like,
the majority of our friends know.
The majority, I would say, but they always tell us, hey, as long as you're having fun and making money, fantastic.
And family too. Like our family.
Our families know,
No. Sure. I mean, a good amount anyways. Yeah.
They just can't believe that they said to us all the time, you literally created Survivor in your garage.
Right, right. Sexy Survivor.
Battle of the Sexes Survivor, yes.
Battle of the Sexes Survivor.
But yeah, and I mean, it's hard when you're not in the same industry, and it's hard when you're in this industry.
Yeah.
I always, to, continue to keep up with outside relationships because it is a very busy job. It's a very busy job. And also too, because we stream on the weekends when, most of our friends are off, we're then working. So it is very difficult that way, but we keep up with people.
It's a balance.
Yeah. You gotta have a balance for sure.
I always say, I said it, I was interviewed earlier today, and I said, when you enter the XXX world in any way, shape, or form, even if you're not getting naked on cam, you soon find out who doesn't love you unconditionally.
So true.
Oh, that's
100%.
So true. You know what? You also find out how vanilla everybody else is.
Oh, I know, right?
I was going to say, Ruby, our vanilla friends, the ones that really are just a straight 9 to 5. I mean, we always thought we were those types of people. We were just a regular vanilla people. We just go to our jobs and then we got introduced to this whole world. And I tell you what, Ruby, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
No. Yeah. And honestly, like when we were in XBIZ in Miami, we had brought, not that we brought, but a friend of ours who had just started looking into camming, and she hadn't even broadcasted yet, but she came because I said, you know what, this will be a great way for you to understand
the business.
the business and what it's all about. And she came and she was like, this is the first time in my life I feel like I could just be myself. And I was like, yes, no judgment, like no, nothing.
Just be you.
You can just be you. And that's, and
it speaks volumes to this industry that has such a stigma and looked differently by so many people that have already painted a picture without understanding really what it's all about.
We have met some of the most amazing people in this industry.
And including yourself.
Yes.
Likewise.
Just really beautiful people. Yeah. It is really nice. And it like I said, we'll go to a wedding or we'll go to an event and we're like, okay, get us out of here.
I know. It's crazy.
I wasn't made for this masking thing.
I know. Well, Rex and I we've been in the swing lifestyle since we met. We've been together 17 years. So, we weren't completely vanilla, but we were definitely secret vanilla.
Right.
Or secret not vanilla, I guess you'd say.
Yeah. And you always kind of feel like you're hiding a little bit of yourself when you go out into the world, right? And that's why it's so nice to be around people who have the same mindset.
Yeah. We don't now. Like every single person in our life knows. We've been on too much, I've been in magazines and just all kinds of stuff. So people find you. But now we're not secretive about anything, which is also freeing. But tell me about a time on camera that something didn't go as planned.
Oh my God. Tell me about
and how did you recover? I love these stories. I want to hear.
Tell me about a time that anything has gone as planned.
How about a time?
That would be a lesser list.
How about a time where I had actually planned to do a spank on her and I went off, I think it was the ladder, and I broke my foot.
Oh my word.
It's in our outro video. I tend to injure myself on Bananagan Island.
He's a little clumsy. He's a little clumsy. Plus, he likes to do stunts. So
I was going to say acrobat.
Yes, pretty much. God. Yeah,
absolutely.
Also, New Year's, we were dancing on New Year's. This was 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was actually on CB's. They did a feature on CB.
Yeah,
on
CB
it.
featured.
Okay, and it was during New Year's, and Maya and I were dancing on the island, and I gave her a twirl and another twirl, and I just went to extend my arm. Well, Maya proceeded to let go of my hand and went crashing into the bar.
The
ass
bar
over tea kettle, and down the bar went.
And the bar and the glass, everything just
And I was just at the end of it, where she's slowly getting up, and I'm like,
yeah.
And it was over. And it was pretty
We've had a lot of things actually happen. We've had a lot of bloopers, I guess you
How
would say.
about a blooper when Angelo was the cameraman during our early sex shows and Maya had a lush in and I'm holding the camera real close for a zoom then she had a lush and all of a sudden she squirted that lush 0.0 blank into my forehead.
Oh my gosh.
And it really knocked me out. That was a good blooper.
That's good pressure.
I hope you kept that. That ought to sell really well.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Yeah, we've had a lot of incidences.
That
And those are
island
our
is a little
favorites as well, Ruby.
dangerous. I'm glad it's going to get rebuilt. Maybe the safety inspector will pay
Yeah.
it.
We need to have you
Exactly.
come and inspect things
Exactly.
for us.
When you broke your foot, though, did you stop the stream? Did you know you broke your foot?
No, so I went down. It's actually one of our outro videos. I'm writhing in pain and I'm rolling around on the island and I shake it off because whatever, I'll deal with it after I'm off camera.
Right.
And I'm hobbling and then we noticed that after we got offline, the whole foot was turning purple.
Oh my.
And I went to get x-rays the next day and they said I had broken the side of the
Mhm.
foot. But it isn't the first time. I broke my foot maybe twice on the island. I broke my big toe and I broke the side of the foot. But it's always when I'm doing a jump off of something. And then Maya says to me one day, she says, you are no longer allowed to do the top rope off of the ladder. And I said, never. I am always going to do it. They'll have to carry me out in a stretcher.
That's
He thinks
so-
he's a wrestler, I think, is what really
Oh.
what it
I wanted to
is.
be in a previous life.
Like jumps on the tape. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a good thing that the island's getting made over because, like, you can kind of think about where you're gonna put stuff now. I think you
Yeah.
need one of those, like, you go to those kids jump houses. You need that kind of padding
Yes.
down there wherever
Oh,
he's jumping off of.
Can we just
Oh.
wrap him in that padding?
Yeah, that's a fetish.
That's a fetish. We have now renovated we're Bananagan Island 3.0. So
Yeah.
we've changed over to where we imported sand and we built a
As
whole
we've
bar.
grown, right?
As we've
Yeah.
grown, right?
We've built.
So we were away at the kiddos soccer tournament one time and we saw this place that was such a big facility and I said, this could be Bananagan Island 4.0. We could put water slides into ice.
Yeah.
water.
Like it was like a Quonset.
Just a Quonset.
And
It
we're
was
like, oh my
amazing. I
goodness.
said,
We
that
just
would
need
be
to do- yes.
that would be the new island where you actually have these huge attractions. We'd
Right.
have to have multiple cameras,
Yeah.
and the tortures and fun would be endless.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll see.
I bet that is
We'll see.
so
And the
true.
broken feet.
No,
would be
no
endless.
more broken feet.
Yeah.
Hey, were you in a walking boot? Because that's also a fetish.
In a walking boot, driving a standard, Ruby. Let me tell you, that's fun.
I get that, yeah. Because of course I broke my right hand and I was right-handed, so
Right.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
man.
Yeah.
you learn
Yeah,
how to do
the-
talk to text real good.
Oh, you
Yeah,
sure
right.
do. You sure do. You sure
Learn
do.
quick.
But every piece of memory we've chiseled together off of that island. We record all our shows, but it's been such an amazing thing to see how we've progressed through the
Yeah.
3.5 years that we've been on, the adaptation, the changes to the island. And man, I turned 51 in April, Ruby, and people ask me, you're like a 20-year-old. I'm like, I don't want to grow up. I
Yeah.
don't ever want to grow up. I love what I do.
It's actually funny because I was saying that to somebody the other day
Mhm.
that I had a friend who was a teacher and one of her research papers was on how adults forget as they get older, adults
Mhm.
forget to play and
Mhm.
how important it is
Yeah.
Yeah.
for adults to just remember that, you've got to tap into that
Child.
that child side
Yeah.
of you that
Right.
it's so important for your mental health to be able to do that. So
Yeah.
this actually for us, it really is. It's been like an outlet for us. And we
Mhm.
joke that it's like couples counseling and,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but we
The
actually,
spanking part.
the spanking part, the torture part, but we actually do like there'll be times when him and I will, like as couples do, we'll have, like a little tiff before, but as soon as we get on
Oh,
and then
yeah.
by the end of it, then
Yeah.
it's like, everything's fine. It's
Yeah.
like, it is what it is. Yeah. But it brings out that side of us. get to play and enjoy each other that way and have fun.
Couples camming is hard. I don't think people understand that it's way harder than being a solo account.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, harder in a different sense, because I find solo, solo's difficult because it's only you who,
I know.
like, you've got to learn to like make chats and hold the room, but it is difficult in a different way in regards to making sure you guys can get along and
and what you brought up, like the personal sexy time connection. I mean, we were in the beginning, and I think we all do it in the beginning as cam couples, like everything is on cam, and then it's pretty soon like, okay, I really do when it's just private time, because you're putting on a show and
exactly. And I mean, I don't know if I would say it's probably that way for everybody, because once a camera's on, you're aware the camera is on.
Right.
And you're trying to get a good shot.
You're trying to get you're trying to it's always angles in your brain, right? So your brain, you're not as connected in those moments.
I remember our early shows when she would look at me and she'd say, "Stop looking at the monitor. Just look at me." Because you're looking at the monitors and you're looking to see the angles.
But he'd be like replying to people, and I'm like, dude. We're in this, okay?
We'd be in the action of it, and I'm like, but hang on, he asked a question.
I know. Oh my gosh, you and Rex, you guys are birds of a feather.
Oh my God.
I know. I just like, ignore the chat. You're supposed to be me. Hello.
Pretend they're not there.
Yeah.
But yes, it is.
What would you say your biggest challenge is as a cam couple?
Wow. Our biggest challenge, I think for me anyway, and yours might be different, but our biggest challenge for me would be to always making sure we're keeping it fresh, keeping it new.
That's what I was going to say.
And keeping it going, because nothing on the island is scripted. We go in and it's live, and people have a great time. They laugh, they get angry, they just watch us be two people that are constantly just being, is it ad lib, right? Where it's just like they're just off the cuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that probably is the biggest.
Keeping it fresh.
Well, keeping it fresh, but also just managing things as they come up, because our room is different in regards to what you typically see on the sites. We do have a lot of things that come up, whether it's like, oh, there's something with the token poll, or somebody's upset because their team didn't win, or like there's all these other things that come up. But I think our biggest challenge is keeping it fresh, I think, and then dealing with the different personalities within the room.
And within that challenge, Ruby, the most important part is, in all of those challenges, is making sure that she and I are always in tune with one another.
Yes.
With what's going on, making sure that we're comfortable doing something. We have secret words that we say if something's too much. But that's the most important part. At the end of the day, it's she and I creating this show and making sure that we're delivering the best, but it's us. It's the both of us that have to be off camera, making sure that, hey, we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
And I think, and I think that, because I think it was a challenge when we first started that part of things, but we've gotten pretty good at our secret language. It's the book.
Rex would know, like, if I'm, whatever is going on, if I touch him and I just bear down with my nails just a little bit, like, it's either don't rail me quite so hard, or we're not saying that, dude. Don't say that,
So what you're saying is Rex has some nail marks in his skin?
Early on. Now we can speak to each other with our eyes. Like, we don't even have to say anything, or
100% you get, and I think it's actually kind of cool that way, because you are still putting on a show, right? So you're trying to continue to allow the show to go, but still communicate with each other. And you do get, it's kind of cool, because you do get better at communication because you are, doing it in a different level.
And in the midst of all of it, Ruby, we are some of the most competitive people on planet Earth. So we are literally trying once
not to kill each other.
No, we'll talk to the fans at the beginning. We'll see how everybody's week is gone. But then once it's go time, it's she's the queen of the bees, I'm the king of the wolves, and then it's go time. And then it's just like competitive to the end.
That's fun.
Well, and I think that's a challenge too, because that's how our room is set up, that we have to remember, like you said, that it's
checking
us.
with each other.
It's us. It's not, there are these teams and they do pit us against each other, and they do a very good job of pitting us against each other. So remembering that it's us in the end, I think is one of those things. Yeah.
Well, you two have done you beyond amazing job of creating a community. Like, truly, you've achieved what most, all the mentors in the long term, whether it's CAM or whatever it is, gamers, it doesn't matter. They say the most important thing is building a community that'll follow you wherever you go. So like if you get a site shut down, it doesn't matter. And you guys you were at the top. There's a reason you won that award.
Oh, thanks.
Thank
Ruby.
you. Thank you so much for that.
It gives me goosebumps. We're humbled, we're honored, and we love every minute that we spend on the island. And we love our fans. We love our family. People. We love our people
so much.
And we're grateful for every moment on the island.
Yeah.
So as we close out, tell everyone where to find you, because there's going to be tons of listeners that maybe don't even know about your island. So let's plug where we can find you.
So we do stream Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 11 p.m. Eastern on Chatterbait. That's our main outlet that we stream from. And we have our link tree. Our Twitter is BBMilfshake. So if you go to our Twitter, you can find our link tree there. Yep. We also have our OnlyFans account. There's a free account, which is kind of the island stuff. Mm-hmm. And then there's the subscription account, which is Island After Hours.
But if you go to Twitter, you'll find all the links at BBMilfshake. That'll give you all the info and the live shows. And I usually
tweet solo shows.
And the solo shows.
Yeah.
And I usually tweet out the day before, the day of, when we're about to go live, and fun starts.
Awesome. Well, thank you for making the time amongst all of this chaotic things happening to come on. You. I will be excited to watch you rebuild the island, and I think that is great content, filming yourself rebuilding it and remaking it, and you'll come back probably bigger and better than you were before, right?
Absolutely. And in all of it, Ruby, we will always remember to have fun, because if you're not having fun,
you ain't doing it right.
That's right. That is so right. Well, thanks again, you guys.